YeahThisMilk, starring
Theresa Tha Songbird. We real trill, kill bill, precision, incision, invincible women. Oshun with a sword. Womb can't afford to have born none less than the Lord, or more with a double O-R, black God. Black king, royal, cause he beams from our mothership. We universe and covenant. We supernatural sustenance. We vitamins and supplements. We herbs and seasonings. We planets plan to implement it, planet with the advantage of growing the seed up to be love. And we paid the cost to be the boss with the sauce. So it ain't no love lost. This love ain't meant to lose. This love is meant to win. It's coming from within, is doing it without any shadows of a doubt. We've been about this life, manifested manna from the manner of our mandibles, tangible healings, actual miracles. Watching these words work ought to put God's fear in you, ought to put God's love in you, ought to put God's trust in you. But you be acting brand new, God, like you never really knew God, like you never knew that you God. And it shows. Some of y'all got y'all whole cards exposed, and we see you pretending you mended, but baby, your heart ain't in it. Your soul is broken. You barely living. You coasting. The world been choking the life out of you. The bullshit been beating the fight out of you. And my nigga, you've been knocked the fuck out. But these black girls got this love that says, baby, you gotta get the fuck up like a morning mother shoulder shake. Ain't nobody got time to play, little nigga. We finna be late. Wake your big ass up. Folgers in your cup. Starbucks in your belly. Chick-fil-A done fucked around and open up on a Sunday type of miracles and blessings. Yes, we is all of that shit. So black girl, be all of that shit. Be a goddess. Be a bitch. Be a fairy princess. Be a witch. Be a president. Be a gift. Be a present with a presence that uplifts like warm weather. Be indifferent. Be indignant. Be whatever makes you clever, happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. Do that thing that keeps your edges strong, your booty big, and your love light alive. And if one of these suckers tries you one too many times and you just want to ball up inside and cry, I'm gonna need you to chuck your chin to the sky and keep loving yourself, keep forgiving yourself, keep hugging yourself, cleanse yourself, sage that shit, embrace that shit, get in front of a floor-length mirror butt naked, baby. You better shake that shit. It's okay to be a human being that makes mistakes. You just move with grace while you take up space and forget anybody trying to convince you that you're not great. Because girl, you awesome, you special, you helpful, you be trying harder, you be pushing yourself farther than even you thought you could go. You stay in it when your anxiety is crippling and totally out of control, because you already know this world don't stop turning when it's tears burning in a black girl's eyes, or blood trickling from a black girl's thighs, or a baby hanging off a black girl's breast, or when we've been doing all we could and more and we don't have no hair or no breast or no more decidedly identifiably female features left. You still the kind that cares less what the careless character characterized as qualified. They can't quantify your metaphysics. They can't comprehend your digits, but they keep counting on you to do what you do so well, excel. When they keep putting you at this obvious disadvantage, you manage to keep on winning, because we phenomenal black women. We've been here since the beginning. We the origins of divas and prima donnas. We the Madonna, the Ma'at, the Makita, the mitochondria Eve, the healer. I'm talking about a Henrietta Lack kind of black. We got DNA, the most dynamic doctor, still can't crack. We so magic. We so motherfucking fantastic that those who can't have it and be it will be inclined to try to beat it and be even more maligned when we remain undefeated out here dodging demons like Neo in the Matrix. Baby, we amazing, and they hate it. They can't take it. How we be solving it, how we be evolving it just by being involved in it. And we got the unmitigated gall of it to be out here being all of it, with all your most high melanin Merlin swirling, with all your roots watching and follicle curling. Baby, your cocoa glow goes so. Ooh, what else are they supposed to do but envy you with all that black girl magic?
How you doing, Theresa?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's what's up.
Where were you born? Can you tell us where you was born and make us feel like how you was raised? Make us feel like we was raised.
I was born on a Tuesday morning. I was. My mom was telling me I was born on a Tuesday, 11 a.m. in Chicago Heights at St. James Hospital. I don't even think it exists anymore.
Right.
I was born at St. James Hospital. I was born to my two parents who are still married and together. I'm the oldest of 3 children.
How long they been married?
Now, you making me do math. That's so unfair.
I'm sorry.
Like 45 years. Yeah, 45 years.
Let me ask you a different question before you go back into Chicago, how you was raised. How long were they together, period? Because we count the marriage, but
y'all know they knew each other for 3 years before they got married. So they've been married they've been together for 48 years.
That's dope.
And they got together when they were like 17. No, my mom had to be 19 when they got together. which will be your dad 21 when they got together.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. But finish telling us about Chicago. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I was born in Chicago Heights, not in Chicago. I was born in the south suburbs of Chicago, and I was born with a hole in my heart. So when I was born, they put me in the NICU, and I survived for 8 days with a hole in my heart, and then they flew me to Michael Reese Hospital, where I got my heart murmur stitched up, and I've been out here balling ever since.
How do you think it was different for you being raised by two parents than other people you know that wasn't raised with two parents?
I think every household is different. Like, even coming from a 2-parent household, I have friends who also were raised by 2 parents, and parents be weird, man. Even my parents are a little strange. I love them. They love each other. They have a very interesting relationship, and the way where their relationship is now, my parents are very capable of being a testimony to other people, and I think that matters tremendously. So as of where I am now, I look at what they have and I admire it. There are times growing up when I did not admire what my parents had or desire what my parents had, but now, where they are now in their relationship, it makes me very much so like, we gotta put something on these, child, and somebody gotta come put on me, what we gotta do something about that, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We gotta do something about that.
All right. The thing that you said, they've been together for 48 years, they've been married for 45 years. Yeah. What was the thing? Have you asked them what's the code to crack to get that long? Because everybody don't have that code. It's a special code to get that.
Okay, so I never had to ask my parents what the code was because they make it very clear.
Okay.
Number one, the code is commitment. So like, despite like my parents, there's some crazy shit has come up in their lives and in their relationship, but they've stayed committed to the basic boundaries that have been set in their relationship. And I think that's something that everybody needs to talk about. Like, I'm not going to talk about it on camera because it ain't nobody's business what my parents have worked out in their personal relationships. But I will say this, like, I've talked to my mom extensively about this because we and her have a great, we like friends, for real. Like, my dad is my dad. He's a very stern alpha male. We is not friends. He is my daddy, you know what I'm saying? Right. But with my mom, we homies, So we've had several conversations over the years about love and relationships and the things that she's asked my dad for and to do and the boundaries that have been set between the two of them. And while some of those things have shifted over the years, there's a couple things my mama asked my dad for when they were 20 and 21 years old. And I have learned that just those couple of things that my mom has set as boundaries just make her a forward-thinking woman and a woman who understands what is tangible in a relationship. But she's also, my mom is the pillar of spirituality in my parents' relationship. My mom has brought my dad to an understanding of how powerful and real and awesome God is. And I don't think he'd have that without her. But on the same token, I don't think she'd have the same level of faith that she has without the walk that she's had with my dad.
Most definitely.
So,
what do you think? You said the boundaries. Your mother set certain boundaries.
Yeah.
What are some of the boundaries or principles that you take for yourself for your relationship going forward? Whereas though you get that ring you want.
Confusion is not a thing that I'm allowed to have.
I feel that.
And that's something that I've been very adamant about reconciling all the time presently in how I'm moving in relationships, because I'm a plus size lady and I've had my own dealings in the world. I'm a very private person, but I also am like a hopeless romantic on a few levels in certain kind of aspects, and I've never had the opportunity to be properly courted publicly.
Most definitely.
And that's something that I desire, but that's not something that I desire because I wanted to be cute for Facebook or no shit like that. It's really like, like Taraji is a great example. Like, for years, she would do the red carpet with, like, her son, or she would do it alone, and people would ask her, like, who are you dating? And she's like, as long as nobody is claiming me, I'm not bringing nobody out with me. I made the mistake of doing that a couple of times in Chicago, little fuddy-duddies. They called themselves wanting to kick it with me, and I brought them to a couple of open mics, brought people to a couple of events where they thoroughly embarrassed themselves and embarrassed me. And then I was like, I can't do this. And then you want to, it's just a whole lot. But outside of that, I don't want to feel like I'm guessing what I am to you. That's not, like, that is a vibration. That's an emotion. I know what that emotion feel like. It does not work with the rest of the machinery that allows me to be Theresa Tha Songbird. So that's not an emotion I'm allowed to carry anymore. And any man who comes into my presence, who establishes that as the foundation of, I don't know what I am to you, I don't know what this is we're trying to establish, and I'm not comfortable, I can't proceed in a state of confusion ever again.
I feel it 100%. Let me ask you this. When you say courting you, are you saying no man has ever courted you properly, or you in a space where as though you're not allowed to be courted by men?
I don't know what the second thing means.
Meaning, like, basically, like, you running, so you ripping and running. You doing tours, you went viral, so it's like, is it tricky where as though you don't know if somebody wants you for you?
But that's discernment, and I don't have a problem with discernment.
Okay.
What I'm talking about is there are, like, you know, there's levels to getting to know a person.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you have the, oh, I just met you, like the stranger, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I just met you. Who are you? Oh, you do poetry. Can I see some of your work? You see, you know, and I'm not going to, like, at this point, prior to going viral, I'll let you see my work. It's whatever. But now that I've gone viral, I'm going to send you that because I want you to understand the level. This ain't, because my least favorite phrase is, oh, you finna go do your little poetry thing. Like, that's...
This ain't no little poetry thing.
I ain't Lil Wayne, Lil Bow Wow, Lil Poetry, Lil Baby, none of that shit. You understand me?
Right.
Big, notorious, B.I.G.
Right.
All day long, legacy, legend, pillar, motherfucking...
Big L, Big Pun,
you understand?
Biggie,
Period. Point
all
blank.
Most definitely.
Period.
Most definitely.
You understand? I was like, so I send you that so you understand who I am, so you understand what I am. But just having this conversation, everybody's not prepared to deal with that, and that's okay. I can see who you are on that level, and I can treat you like a friend. I can treat you like a fan. That's no problem. Then there are those who see it and they want to be a part of the industry, and they think they're gonna use me as a piggyback to do all of that. But I got friends in the industry. I know what it looked like to do mutual work with somebody, and I know what it looked like and feel like to have somebody trying to use you to get on. So I know, I see that too.
Right.
My issue is with the folks who are allowed room to really get to know me. And when you really get to know me, you know, I'm not gonna push because I'm breaking old habits. I have been a person in the past who has worked to make a relationship where there was none. So my rules are, I do not chase. I am not allowed to chase on any level, on any day of the week. I will display interest. I will respond. I will reciprocate interest. But I'm no longer allowed to initiate or pursue, because that doesn't work for me in the long run, and it doesn't work for my emotional state in the long run. So for me, there's confusion in places where I'm with the person who makes me want to pursue, and they're not really giving me the attention that matches the amount of pursuit that I would like to have. Right. And that causes confusion.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? And then it's like that other part of me that's like, well, I don't want to like completely, but I also like, I don't want to X you out my life. But it's easier for my emotional state to just be like, all right, you don't exist anymore, and I can move on being Theresa Tha Songbird, because everything else just is distraction. Right. And I can't afford to be distracted.
If I'm wrong, correct me. I feel like you at a space where you need a man to see your soul and not see Theresa Tha Songbird.
I need you to see both.
Right.
No, definitely, you got to see both.
Most
definitely. You got, because it's soul in both.
Most definitely.
And like, I'm.
Not getting.
You gotta stop saying I'm old, but I'm grown. I'm grown. I'm in my 30s. I've been grown for a minute now, and I've been by myself for a long enough time to know that I'm married to Theresa Tha Songbird. You know what I'm saying? So like, and people who meet me meet Theresa Tha Songbird. Even now, y'all are talking to Theresa Tha Songbird. You know what I'm saying? There's very few people who really get to see Teresa Michelle Wilson. She got a few other nicknames that y'all don't need to know about because they made for y'all. You know what I'm saying? There's very few people who get to see Teresa on a different, more intimate level. So I need you to know who Theresa Tha Songbird is, because she's the people that she's the person that is presented to the people. And I need you to know her so that you can cherish being able to know the more intimate parts of me, because you're getting something that I have purposely reserved, not for everybody.
That's what I'm talking about when I say the soul part. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's dope. How long you been writing?
I started writing when I was 9. Started writing poetry when I was 14.
Well, okay. What did you start writing at 9?
I was writing anything. I would write essays, short stories. I had my first published piece of work in a local newspaper when I was 9 years old. That's how I know I was like into it, because that was like my validation. I feel like there are certain moments like as I get older, I look back over my life, and I feel like there are certain points in my life where I realized that the universe wanted me to understand there's a place that I was going to. Because there are so many things that have happened to me that I wasn't like, I'd be the only black girl there.
Right.
The only one. And I just be looking around like, what am I doing here? How did I get here? Why do they even want me here? It costs this much to be here. Look at my mama. You got this much? You look at me. I ain't got this much. And somehow I'm still here and the whole thing is paid for. I'm just confused. Like, that's happened to me on so many different times in my life, in so many different ways. When I was 9, my parents moved from one suburb to another because they wanted me in a better school district for when I got to high school, which was imperative to everything that I did with my higher education. So I moved to a super white neighborhood when I was 9, and we did essay. What would you give for Christmas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the 2, 5 paragraph, 3 paragraph, 3 sentence paragraph essay, right? 2 paragraphs though. And my essay was that I would give love for Christmas.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, man. So they put like 3 kids' essays in the newspaper, and mine was one of the essays that they picked, because I would give love for Christmas, because love is free.
That's dope.
And I don't have no money.
That's dope.
That was basically
yeah.
That was basically the essay.
Do you have that essay still?
It might be. I there's like a chance it might be in my room.
When it's over, will you show me?
I'll see if I can find it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like stuff like that. That's dope. That means you damn near. I was gonna ask you, like, when did you figure out you basically was. Did your mom and father help cultivate your thought process?
No, not until I was like in high school. Was I in high school? Yeah, I was in high school, and I might have been like 17 or something. And my mom had stumbled upon some of my poetry, and like all of my poetry when I was a teenager was about wanting a boyfriend. So it was like low key smutty poetry. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like very like teenage porn. You know. Very, very light teenage porn, right? So my mom comes downstairs and she's like, Theresa, I just don't. This is not what you need to be writing about. And then she throws me this book from somebody she went to college with, and she's like, this is kind of stuff. And I love my mama. She know I hate her, but I love her, but I hate her because I can't stand it. She be right and I be wrong, but she be right. Right? Because at 17, I was like, Mom, you don't understand anything about my poetry or my creative process. Such a suburban little white little black girl. Mom, you just don't understand. You don't get it. But like looking back, my mom wanted me to write like stuff that helped my community. That was like the book she gave me was this dude who was writing like super pro-black, super like it was kind of like Hickory Dickory Dock, very like Dr. Seussy. That's besides the point. But the content was super pro-black, super like, let's help our people. And that's really like my brand now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So at the time I wasn't with it. I wasn't trying to hear it, but Mom was right. But I didn't care. Like, that's the only time she really gave me input is when I was 17, and I wasn't feeling it. So she stopped giving me input.
Do anybody in your family write besides you?
I had a cousin who wrote a little bit, but he got some stuff going on.
Was he dope? Do he write poetry or do he write, what do he write?
Oh, I got another little cousin. He wrote a little poetry, a little bit, but he had like a lot. He had a tumultuous life, so he wasn't as committed to it. But I always remember his poetry because his life was so tumultuous. You know what I mean?
Right,
He was out running the streets or whatever. And then he lived with my aunt, and my aunt would be like, "Have you seen Maurice's notebooks?" She brought me his notebooks, and he had like 5 or 6 notebooks, front to back, filled with just his thoughts and stuff, and the stuff was cold.
Right.
But he came home one day, not feeling it, threw all the notebooks in the fire.
Oh shit.
Yeah, crazy guy.
Oh shit.
I love my cousin now. I don't know. But I got another cousin, young cousin. Her name is Paige, right? And I think that's so dope, right? Because when I tell you she cold, she my cousin's daughter out of L.A. I mean, she just graduated from high school. She's getting ready to go to college. When I did my first TV show in 2013, she had to be like 12 then, right? And we filmed in L.A. and they all came to visit me in my hotel room. And Paige is the first time ever meeting Paige because I met Ginger. I met her mom, and because Ginger's mother, my cousin, Ginger's mother is my mom's half sister, right? So my mom didn't meet her half sister until she was in her 40s. So these ladies, my family in LA, I didn't get to really know them until I was an adult. And now that's who I stay with when I go to LA. I stay with my cousins and my aunt. So it was not, I met, everybody, but I had never met any of Ginger's children. So I was really excited to meet my little play cousins and shit, right? Or my real cousins and shit. So, it's all these little girls, and Paige is the oldest of these 4 little girls. And she like, I write poems too. You want to hear my poetry? And then she rips. And I mean, like, I got to go and perform tomorrow on television.
Right.
And I'm watching this 12-year-old, and I'm gobsmacked, just like, colder than anything I ever thought about writing at 12. The content was like,
she gonna be an alien.
Oh man,
she gonna be an alien.
She already alien, as far as I'm concerned. Like,
Most
and I'm so thoroughly impressed with Paige all the time. I just be watching, waiting to see what she gonna do next. I got my goddaughter here in Atlanta. She write poetry, but she's a super artsy chick all the way around. And like, she came to me hosting at Apache this past month, and because she's my child, everybody who know me know her. So when I introduced her, and I told people, I was like, I'm gonna introduce this next person like I don't know her. So I introduced her cold. I didn't give her no extra frills or nothing, right? And she got up on that stage, and when I tell you, she is in the midst of murking. I'm trying not to pay her too much attention that I knock her off her square, because I know what that feels like, because have my mama come to my competitions and shit, and you get nervous, you know what I'm saying? I ain't want my baby to be nervous, but I was super excited, because I was like, I know my baby, I know she gonna kill.
Right.
Oh, I'm so excited. So I'm sitting there, it's Georgia Me, it's Red Storm, it's Rewop, it's like a few of the heavy hitters, right? And she started talking, Rewop get up first. Rewop was like, that T-Bag go? And I'm like, yeah, girl, that's LT. I'm excited, right? Then Georgia get up. Red don't get up, but he leaned forward. He like, who is that spitting? They must know they poem. Because, everybody get up there on Apache, all like, and my poem for the day is,
Right.
But she got up there, she murked, and I was so proud. I was proud, and everybody that was with me was like,
DNA.
Even though, non-biological, but spiritual DNA like a mother.
Most definitely. What do you think, what was your favorite subject in school? Because you brought up school and you said that's how you start some of the things you was writing.
A couple of my favorite subjects. In high school, my favorite subjects were world history. And my English classes in high school were really dope, but that's because my English teachers, one of my English teachers was the acting director. He was the theater director for almost everything we did, and he is who got me really focused into performing poetry. So but my whole because my high school was so super white, we had a lot of opportunities afforded us. So I was able to do a lot in the English department, and the English department was very creative, and they were very inspired in how they taught the kids. So I was always happy to be writing and be able to be creative in my writing process. And then like the world history class was just, it wasn't regular. It wasn't regular at any level. My world history class is where I got to learn world religion. That's the first time I really learned about Taoism and Confucius and like Buddhism and Nirvana and the Venn diagram of religions in general, and getting to see how much more similar we are than different. And that just opened my eyes up a lot to humanity, and to look back and realize that these two white men taught me so much about being a human being, and they empowered me so much as to who I am now, is just, I don't know. It's a little juxtaposing, I assume.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I always say it's two different types of white people. It's ones who look at you and you're invisible, and there's ones that see you. And those seem like those two white men, they saw you. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, well, you can see somebody in the, you can be invisible, or you can be seen and seen as a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can be seen as something to uplift. And I don't think my history teacher was as focused on me in particular as much as he was passionate about the whole class.
I got you.
And I had a few teachers like math. I was a great student. I was excellent at math. I always loved my math teachers. None of them necessarily focused hyper focused on me, but they were just passionate about math for the whole class. And that I enjoyed.
And that kept you focused on
Yeah.
it. Right.
And I had a teacher who gave us, every day he would tell us the same thing. And he told us that so much that we understood that it wasn't just for class, it was for life. And he always said, don't change the formula because the problem looks different. Don't change the formula because the problem looks different. And I've always stuck with that. Like, if you know what works, I'm a person who works on prayer and faith, and right is right and wrong is wrong. And if you you have to take that to mean whatever you think it means. My mama told me that my whole life, so it's always been something that resonated with me. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And you got to pray and you got to have faith. And if you believe in the power of metaphysics, then you got to know that you have to be passionate. And anything that you are passionate about, you are going to bring about. Even if you're passionate about it in a negative vibration, if you're passionate about it so much that it makes you cry when you fall asleep, you're going to cry and you're going to have it, and it's going to make you cry when you have it, whether it's positive or negative. So I just believe in that, and that's my formula. And I've learned that no matter what the problem is, that formula works always, no matter what. You pray about it, you get your metaphysics together, that right is right and wrong is wrong. Shout it, keep your faith together. That's why it's easy for me now when someone come on the dating thing. When someone comes to me to confusion, right is right and wrong is wrong. This feeling is wrong and you got to go.
Most definitely.
Period.
Most definitely.
Because I can't afford for this machine not to work. I just really got to jump. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
I just got to jump start. For real.
It's funny you say you just got to start. Whenever I look at poetry, when I see somebody in the poetry community get the jump start, I feel like the whole poetry community got a jump start.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you win, I win. That's how I be looking at that shit. My question to you is, what's the first time you wrote a poem and you said, oh shit, I can write? You don't have to know that poem. I'm just saying, when do you remember the first time you thought?
Because that's the thing. I had done a few features, and I still was very unsure of what I was doing, and I didn't feel like I was really hitting the punches. I knew I was good. I probably want to say, and I don't want to put none of my poetry. No, okay. So when I did my first album, there were a couple of poems on my first album that kind of really hit home and let me know I was doing something great as a writer. One of those poems I never performed. It's called Love, Kimberly. I think that's when I kind of knew that I was good. Really, really good. I think that's when I knew I was good on stage. I feel like I always knew I was good on paper because I look back at what I was writing. Like once I got out of my like teen porn, like my late 17 and 18, I was writing much more like hard hitting conceptual poetry because I was competing as a poetry reader. So I was reading more of other people's works. I was getting more influence of how I could be a more well-rounded, entertaining poet. So my writing was getting better, but I didn't really have a scope until I got into the performing scene in Chicago and got around other performing poets and got some gravitas. That's balls for y'all who went to public school. You know, I got some gravitas about myself and about my delivery. So it'll probably be around maybe like the poems that I started writing around like 22, 23. That's when I knew I was getting like finesse.
Did you have any mentors? Because some people have mentors and some people don't.
I didn't have poetry writing mentors. I had people who I looked at like, thank you, I might could do that. And what's crazy is like,
I feel like
Georgia Me was definitely one of them. And I tell her this all the time. Like when I was in college, Def Poetry Jam had just started being a thing. And I would drive home every weekend to watch Def Poetry because my parents had cable, you know what I'm saying? So I would drive home every weekend just so I could make sure I had a TV where I could watch Def Poetry. So watching Georgia and then like having a life that allowed me to meet her and then having a life that allowed me to move to Atlanta and live with her when shit went sideways with my life. I lived with Georgia for like 5 or 6 months.
That's dope.
For a while.
That's dope. Because
the bitch was homeless out this motherfucker. Georgia has a huge heart. Georgia keeps keys to my house. Like, that's my homie for real on a different level. When things happen, like I hold space for her. I bake sweet potato pies for her mama every year for Christmas. This is my friend, you know what I mean? It's like, and to think that this is my life is insane.
Most
like
definitely.
to go from being 12, 22, watching her on TV, like, I could do that one day. And it's like, she's maybe giving me 7 or 8 pieces of advice, and they don't be long-winded pieces of advice. I can tell you things that Georgia has told me over the years about my poetry specifically. Specifically, Georgia has told me, Theresa, you walk off stage like you got a pot of greens waiting for you. Like you got to go do some, like you got to go back to cleaning up the kitchen or something. Like I would leave stage so quickly that you wouldn't even know. Like I wouldn't stay to soak up my moment. And it just wasn't working for me. What else did she tell me? I was lazy. She told me that while I was living with her. I was lazy and I was sitting on my talents. And she was right about that. I think she definitely gave me the kickstart. Because I always been that, like, I can do whatever. I can do anything. And I kind of, like, just taken that and not figured out how to monetize it. And she was the one who was like, bitch, if you don't get your broke ass up and figure out how to make something out of all these talents you have.
Most definitely.
And I did. That was the quick, swift kick in the ass that I needed to get my shit together. And then ever since then, she's just been like, you worthy, you deserve it, you my friend, you are my counterpart, ain't no competition, you your own competition. So, like I told her, I don't see her as a mentor. I'm the oldest of all my sisters. So I've never had a big sister. So I see her more in like that aspect than as somebody who I like, because we are friends and we exchange information. And I care for her the same way she cared for me. You know what I'm saying? I like to be able to give her advice and be a shoulder for her to lean on the same way she's a shoulder for me to lean on. So that's my sister. That's not my mentor. That's my sister. If I had a mentor, I guess it would be God.
Oh, most definitely.
You know?
G.O.D. always there, right?
And I'm always willing to learn from other people. I'm forever a student to anybody who's willing to teach me.
Good information it is.
Yeah.
Most
now,
definitely.
even bad information.
Oh, yeah, you can learn.
All information
you
is
are
good
right.
information.
You are right. You are right. When did you realize, like, what made you start writing?
Poetry specifically?
No, in general. Because it led to poetry. But what made you? I remember you said when you talked about the essay you did in school. But what made you even start writing before that?
I didn't write before that.
Oh, you didn't?
I wrote when I was told to write.
Oh.
And then when I was about 9, after my essay, my mom gave me a diary. Yeah, I got like a diary for my birthday, Christmas, or something like that. You know, one of the little cheap ones you can break the locker on real easy with like a paper clip. So that was like, I got that when I was 9, and I wrote and I journaled every day. I wrote my diary every day, more or less until I was like about 12 or 13. And then I started writing poetry, and poetry became my form of quote-unquote journaling. But I started writing poems specifically when I was 14 because I thought my handwriting was cute. It was the only reason. Like, I don't want nobody to think it was deep. It wasn't deep. I was writing on a piece of paper, and I was like, "Ooh, your handwriting pretty. Let's write some words that rhyme with this pretty handwriting." That was it.
Do you have any of your old books?
I have every single poem I've ever written.
How many books you probably have?
I got 2 milk crates, and then a couple bags, and then a couple other books strewn around in some places. Yeah.
What does poetry mean to you?
Sanity.
That's dope.
Yeah, sanity.
That's dope.